to define what affordable house is. And all they will come up with is, if a house can be rented out at the average rental price, then it becomes an affordable house. So if you've got, say, a development of 10 houses all at £200,000 a piece, if you can rent that out, say at the rate of £500, which is the area equivalent, that's an affordable house. It's just a myth, it's affordable housing.
Okay, right, we'll see how that goes. The community infrastructure levy, just out of interest, has not been agreed yet. It's been on the go for about 3.5 years and it will not be adopted until next year. So hopefully, if they don't build them before next year, we might get some money out of it. But
Somebody should be looking at the corrugated iron at the back of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll all be taken into account.
Yeah.
I mean, that's down to the landowner at the moment. If that's dangerous, then
it is dangerous.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm sorry, but it shouldn't really be.
Glad I'm asking,
But I take
you know, I couldn't ask you a question. It's on this issue, if you ask him, ask it publicly.
No, I'm not. Mrs. Thompson was just making a comment.
Well,
She shouldn't have
I
done.
just want to make a comment as well.
Well, do you want to ask me to end the meeting, Kev?
I just want to make a comment on this value on this planning.
No. Sorry.
Will
You have to wait till then.
will the decision on this reflect on this various planning
Excuse me,
application on the...
you don't really want to be ignoring what we're saying.
Sorry, I've asked you not to speak, so you can raise it at the end of the meeting. I'm not going to answer it now. So if people can just keep it's
Just talking over us doesn't make it right.
You're not chair.
I didn't say I was.
Kevin, can I just ask you to...
Excuse me, chair, maybe I should tell him he's not chair.
I know he's not chair, he knows he's not chair, but I've asked you to keep quiet. So if we're going to start everybody talking in the meeting, then I shall ask you all to leave and we'll conduct it in private. Thank you. Right, plus any other further items on the planning list published by RBC up to and including the day of the meeting. You know, next one's on the next meeting next week. So. Right, item 2 to discuss Topic North development. This has only been waiting to be discussed since February. Is everybody ready? Kevin, please don't talk. Can we just... Well, if you're going to carry on, then I'll ask you to leave. No, sorry? You're not going. If I ask you to leave, you're not going to go. Do you want to stop talking and interrupting because everybody else then joining and we're not getting anywhere?
We weren't interrupting, Clive, I'm sorry.
You're talking now.
You're asking us a question.
No, I'm not. I'm just a simple nod of agreement will do. To discuss Topic North development. Has anybody got any comments?
Clive, come on a minute.
Kevin, I've just asked you.
I don't believe it.
What?
You're asking me to stop and people are saying.
Well, everybody stop talking. I'm not just picking on you if everybody stops talking. I was addressing you in the first instance, but it applies to anybody else if everybody else keeps talking. Can I?
Find out where we were on the agenda. Thank you.
If you follow what I'm saying, you'll know where we are on the agenda.
Yes, and I'm looking for it on the agenda. Thank you.
It's item 2, item 6. Yeah, I've done that, John.
Yes, I don't listen to.
It's 6
To discuss the Topic North development, anybody any comments to make? Councillors, that is.
Shall I come in?
Yes, if you want to speak.
I'm going to have the paperwork with me. Well, this is a bit of a grey area because on the original LDF that came out, I think it was 2012, 2013, it showed the area down by Burns Farm, that it showed on the map, on the LDF map, it showed it in yellow hatching, which was a proposal for either industrial or residential. I can't remember which it was now. Then in the second round of LDF consultations, it disappeared completely. And then it miraculously appeared again on the third consultation, which was very short notice. There's also been some sort of, again we'll say grey area, because they haven't actually proposed anything. They haven't consulted the public on it. In effect, they've just done an exercise and set out a document for themselves where they say they're going to put it there. And then there's further confusion because some people at Rotherham are telling local people that it's going to be an extension of advanced manufacturing park. But then when you actually read the document they've actually made, it says it's going to be a logistics centre, which is totally different to an advanced manufacturing park. I think, although it's outside our boundary, I think it affects our local area, and I think we should contact Todwick Parish Council, possibly Dinnington, I think they're objecting to it. And I think we should probably write to both of them, ask them if they would like to get together to discuss the issue with a possible view of making representations towards the planning department and ask why we've not been consulted on such a far-reaching document.
Can I just make a comment on that? Sorry, Colin, go on.
Thank you. At the planning meeting at the Dinnington Resource Centre last November, I went down there and I spoke with a chap from the planning department. And I asked him why they had considered building there when the existing North Anston industrial estate is between 22 and 25% underutilised. Plus, 3 years ago, they built another new estate there. They put in the roadways, they put in the drainage, and they put in the power. And there were no buildings on it. I got a very confused answer. One is they wanted to make the whole of that side one continuous industrial development. And then in the next breath he said, but it probably won't happen for 5 or 10 years.
Well, that's probably right, because this is under the growth plan and the development plan, and this is planning out into the 2020 something, so it's a long-term solution. But what will happen is if this gets approved under the planning inspector's hearings, then that land will be set aside for that development. It might happen 5 years, 10 years, it may never happen at the end of the day, but it will be taken out of the green belt to be used for that work. If you read the last part, this has actually been sent by the clerk to Todwick Parish Council because they're up in arms about this proposed development. And if I can just read it out, it says, I understand the point you raised with regard to prioritising the development of brownfield sites. We will seek to develop these when and where we can. And he basically acknowledges that in that letter that they've gone a bit too fast on this site, that there's not been enough consultation. And so it's not the done and dusted identified site is yet. If I can just bring you up to date on some of the other stuff with the planning, the sites and policies consultation comes back again in September. I asked a question at council meeting last week. I got an answer from one of the senior planners this week, and it's due to come back in September. I think that's another 6-week consultation, and then the planning inspector's hearings will be February, March, I think, next year. So it's gonna carry on for at least another year before any decision is made on that. And there's also a document that one of the commissioners has brought out who's now looking at all this work, and they've revised their, if you go on the website, I think it's a community involvement plan, which deals with all this. Is a new version, they revised it, so if you want a bit of light reading, go and have a look at that. But it is interesting because they're looking at dealing with this in a totally different way to how it's been done before, because one of the comments they've had is, or lots of comments, is the lack of public consultation, etc., etc. So they're seeking to redress that. So it's gonna happen in a slightly different way, but it is worth reading through. It's not that long a document, but it's quite informative. So if you have a look at that, so I think what they basically said in this was that they had pushed this forward and there'd not been enough consultation on it, and that's one of the comments that the commissioners have made, that this has been pushed far too fast to allow people to put the proper comments in, and object it or whatever. So it's really, we've got that document in front of us. What we intend to do is I think just receive it at this moment.
Well, I was saying, can we write to, I can't remember who's in charge of it, write to the person in charge of this, asking what effects, or what effect the proposed development will have on South Anston Crossroads. And copy in Totley Council and Dinnington Council.
I've asked that one already, I've not had a response as to...
Right, so if it comes from the parish council, they have to really respond to it, don't they?
I think actually when we looked at this last year in November, under the LDF, we did object to this and we put the reasons in there. And again, I think one of them, if Michael digs it out, one of them was about the traffic flow through Anston and Totley, because if Bassetlaws goes ahead, which it more than likely will, if that goes ahead there, Anston is going to be like, well, you'll need 200 passes to get under the road because nobody will ever get across it. The traffic lights, they're not capable of accepting the traffic, so there's a lot of work to do, which is going to be extremely expensive to do any work to the crossroads and put any sort of pedestrian crossings in. So I don't know where that leaves the Borough Council with the short-term money.
Can I propose then that we write to the department and we ask them, we have concerns about the development, proposed development, and we ask them what effect the proposed development will have on Southampton Crossroads. They've already not made a decision, they've already discussed the issue of the crossroads, but they've never contacted us as a council at all to say what's wrong with the crossroads. And I think by sending a letter back, hopefully we should get an answer, but also it will keep it to say in the limelight to say, look, we have got concerns and we are watching what's going on. I don't know.
Perhaps, I don't know if anybody agree with this, is it better for us to incorporate those comments as part of the comments on the Blackstone side development? Because we're going to comment on the crossroads and the pedestrian crossing there, aren't we? So perhaps we could say, and this is also has implications if the development at Topic North goes ahead, so you could combine the two rather than separately.
You need to keep them separate because...
Yeah. But the trouble is, this is that far out of date now.
But you need to keep them separate because if they're looking at all the comments about tonic, they're not going to include comments about Blackstone's and vice versa. So I think you need to mention it twice.
As I said, we did resolve to object to that in November, so we can perhaps refer back to that we put in then and just reiterate it. So, do you want some sort of...
We've got an amendment, because the second for your amendment...
Well, I'll drop my amendment then and deal with that.
We've got Stuart's proposal and the second.
The second Stuart's proposal. Come on. We'll vote on it then. All those in favour, sending a letter regarding that, just add on in our comments and objections to it and views. Item 6.3, which is to receive notification from Nottinghamshire County Council on proposal to discuss site selection methodology. Anybody just want to receive this?
Yeah, I think we should just receive it. I mean, basically, they're asking about informal consultation on proposed site methodology. Well, again, this is another site that will possibly affect our area. It's the waste incineration site, and it's going to be down near Gateford somewhere. So again, that will add to the traffic flow.
Yeah, I mean, what it doesn't say is it's a broad consultation. It's site selection methodology. And I know we did have a letter from a group at Shire Oaks, was it? That had set up a group there that wrote to us, and we said that we would, if they came back with further information, we'd consider. I know they were objecting to it because they wanted to build something in that area, so perhaps...
How can you have an informal consultation when you're sending out formal documents?
Don't think. But I know we did have that from Shire Oaks, and we did ask them, because I think they did ask us a question of joining in with them or making comments, and we said we just receive it and then any further information they got, we'd take it. No, it was separate, it was about the waste disposal plans down
Should we just receive this?
I think we just received for the time being, and I'm sure they'll just ask us to keep us in informed. Can I have a close that in a second? All those in favour? Item 7, to discuss grant policy and consider grants. Item 1, grant policy. Does anybody want to vote on this, Drew?
Okay, so at the last meeting, that is very loud, isn't it? At the last meeting I proposed that we hold consideration for all grants and until we've established a more formal grant policy. So I've worked partly through some draft recommendations. I'll just talk very briefly to those, but I know that the colleagues are conscious that we don't want to hold up the award or grant process for some of the grants that we've got in or under consideration at the moment. So many other parish councils have actually got written grant policies and procedures to follow for Section 137 grants. We don't have at the moment. I think looking back over the records of what we've granted in the past, the sums of money that we've given in the past and the organisations that we've given to, they do fulfill the criteria of directly benefiting the parish or parts of it or some of it. But to start off with, we don't publicise our grant funding particularly well, or opportunities for grant funding, and that could lead to unequal access. So some people in the parish know about it, other people don't necessarily. It's also important for local people to actually see a direct benefit. So at the moment we seem to be making quite a lot of small grants, but under some circumstances fewer larger grants might create more of a perceived benefit to the local community. So just a couple of things that I would propose.
So, sorry, carry on. It's just
Sure.
a bit of... No, I'll tell you when you finish that.
Right. A couple of things that I would propose is that we create a grant section of the website to ensure that it's available to everyone in the parish. That we should meet separately as part of the meeting, block off part of the agenda of the meeting at set intervals to consider grants. So somebody who's actually spent most of his career applying for grants, in my case for medical research. Yeah, just found a job.
Just volunteered.
I think I probably have. But we often find that we get much better spread by having a grant committee to consider a set of proposals at once. Rather than being drip-fed through a committee, you can consider them in one meeting. Maybe we have 1, 2, 3 meetings per year. Various of the parish councils do things very slightly differently. Some have a single meeting, some have several meetings to consider it throughout the course of the financial year. We can then weigh grants against each other and decide which are the strategic priorities for funding. Applicants should also be able to request a level of grant funding specifically for their project. There are a few things to tighten up really in our grant form, specifically the calculations for benefit and specifically a better description for applicants of how the grant funding is to be used. And I think we should also make quite a clear distinction between grants, cash grants, monetary grants that we're providing, and fee waivers or reduced fees for things such as parish hall hire, and that should be tiered according to whether it's for commercial use, private or individual use, voluntary groups or charities using those facilities.
Thank you for that. You've obviously done some work on it. Do you want to speak on this, Stuart?
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said at the different points. There's quite a lot to look at. Can I suggest that we set up some form of working party or working...
That's a good idea.
What that allows us to do is, we can have as many or as few as we want on there, and it allows us to sit and write something on paper to say, this is what we're going to do, as a policy basically, and then we bring it back to council, present what's there and say, do we all agree, do we not? But I think it does need quite a lot of work in that area, because the only policy we've got so far is £50 for local, £100 for local and £50 for outsiders, and even that wasn't really set in stone as far as I'm aware on paper. So it's a very loose area, so you're right, we need to tighten it up. And I think, can I propose that we set up a working party to chair that?
Okay.
Can I just make it?
Yeah, because when it comes to our chair, better than it.
Michael, when you were just advising me that we do publish, is it in the autumn newsletter? We do publish a list of grants that the parish council awards to all groups in the village, so everybody gets a copy of that, so people can see where we have awarded grants. So, but I mean, the idea of putting it on the website, we keep adding stuff on as we get there, so the more stuff we can get on is better for everybody concerned. I think you're right about sitting down to do that, but I think we need to do it when we a bit later on the year when we get towards the budget setting process again. Because it's not going to be long before we get there. We're going to have to start looking at it in October, and to make sure we do some more public consultation this time, to start it earlier. Because we've got a lot of things to take into account. If we get the support grant reduction that Rotherham have promised us of about £11,000, we've got to sort that out, how we fit that into our deliberations, and I think everything has to be put in the mix at that point. But I'm glad you've looked at that, and if you've got some sort of a policy that we can have a look at, then I think we need to do it at that time and filter everything, or sort of factor everything else in that we know is going to come. Hopefully, some of us are going to the meeting with the commissioners tomorrow, or whichever one's turned up to try, and one of the things we're going to do is try and lobby to try and get to stop them putting this cut over the next 3 years, because they'll be setting the budget, not actually the Borough Council. They'll have a big input into it. I think we've got to make them aware of what effect it's going to have on how we operate and what we can do and how we can support local organisations. So I fully agree with you. But what I would like to do in the meantime, we've got the grants and the whole, just refresh my memory, all I set up for this year. What I would like to do to stop, I mean, we've got to give people some certainty. I've got some more information from the Horticulture Society that I'll read out to you that have been sent by the chairman. But I think what we need to do is we need to look at that, but I think for this coming year, I think we've got to stick with what we've got, so we're not causing any groups not to cease to function, or they'll have planned around their application for this to a certain extent, and I don't want to start saying yes, no, because I think we've got a bigger job in hand because we haven't got a policy, and we need something working out from that group that then we apply, and then we let people know how it's going to affect. I'm like you, I'd rather, if we've got the money, I'd rather even bigger grants that have a better effect, and look at other ways around. We can either give all higher discounts, things like that, would be more benefit to certain groups rather than money. So what I'd like to do at the moment is if we can stick with what we've got for this financial year, because it's all in the budget, grants and the whole hire. And there is Michael does a waiting list anyway for commercial and whatever you're waiting. I'm not sure whether that's true. I had a copy of that, Mark. So, you know, the waiting for we do that for rents, don't you, things like that. You look at other areas as to how we increase our charges and things like that. Now we do. Yeah, we've got a lot of that information which people have not had, and you've had a copy of the budget, I think, that Michael sent through that we've set, and rather than start creating ourselves a big problem we're going to have difficulty getting out of now, I propose that we stick with what we've got. We've set the money aside for it, and it's not going to affect anything. We can manage that easier as it is now. So that my proposal would be that we look at that later on in the year that you're suggesting with the group goes away and considers all these things, and then we can implement it from which everybody's on the level play, everybody's aware what we're looking at and how we're going to have to do it. But I think we need to take into account obviously that other money that we're going to lose. So I mean that's just my proposal, because people are waiting for decisions on whole hire and grants, before they can plan what they're going to do. So go on, over to you.
Thanks, Matt.
That's all right.
I'm going to stop. I'm inclined to agree with you.
Yes, what?
I see what you're getting at, Clive, that you can't expect these groups to wait, but I think that we should straight away set up a group and start working on it straight away, because these things tend
That's what
to let slide.
Well, that's what Joe's proposed doing.
Yeah, even though you're not going to use it to possibly straight away,
I think we should start, and then I say bring it to the budget meetings in October.
Right, so we can set up the
it then, yeah.
Right.
We can do that straight away.
So we can do that tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm inclined to agree with what you said. I know that people wait for a commitment from us, and yes, by and large, I think we should vote on each individual situation anyway. I wouldn't want to see people suffer or groups suffer because of the backlog of things that we've had for a while. But I do think we need to start the process of looking at next year's or the grants in future. Not necessarily till October, I think we just need to start doing it soon. And when we start looking at all the subgroups that we're having in the parish council, I think we should start looking at it then, because we've got to do that in the next few years.
We've got all the groups set up. No, I mean, when I said that, I meant bring it bring back to that meeting in October, so we've got
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that's a thought out policy.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to agree with you, Clive, that, yeah, we do need to give people an answer, and we should do that tonight.
So you've got the first proposal, who's the second working group?
Yeah, so you want to propose to set up a working group, let's do it, and follow
Yeah.
through.
Is there a second?
You want to second?
Well, I was going to extend it slightly from what you said. I don't know the wording. To add in that, basically set up a working group, chaired by Drew and whoever else wants to attend. And basically, we carry on with the same grant process as previous until the group reports back.
It's two separate issues.
Yeah.
Right, so we're two separate. All right, I'll go on my proposal first.
So the proposal set up a working group chaired by Drew, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Oh, I'm either way.
So,
I proposed it.
right, saying it, so you want to take a vote on that then?
Yeah.
Everybody in favour? All those that want to join the working group, contact the chairman. I mean, you could, it's up to you how you set that up and who's on it. I mean, if the more,
I'll email
the
it.
more people,
How we know.
do you want any, I mean, do you want to be on that, Miles? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to, I've just got a question. Can't you use the money which you've already budgeted for that group anyway, and just give it out differently to how it's being given out at the moment? So you've already budgeted to give money to grants already.
Yeah, what we're saying.
Well, no, that's what I'm proposing, that we, until we get that policy in place for next year as part of the budget setting process, or the precept setting process, we carry on with what we've got this year, so we're not stopping groups or organisations performing. We need to give that certainty for this year, because we set the money aside, so it's not going to affect anything, but then we need to
So
look
it's
at,
to cover the arrangements for this year, is your proposal?
Yeah, so do you want to just read that out, Mike?
Clive,
Sorry, just this.
is there any reason why we can't just give the names now
To
Drew?
no, it can come after the meeting if you want to do that.
Can't we do it now?
Well,
Then it's settled.
well, do it. I'm not bothered as long as you let him know one way or another. You've got his email
Well,
address.
I would prefer to do it now
Okay.
because things have slid along in
Well,
this
we-
council for far too long.
Right. Anybody who wants to be on the working group, please show. I don't think we might need more than that. 4 or 5. Don't make it over. So I'll leave that to you as to how you want to how and when you want to meet. And I think Drew's done a fair amount of research already, so you've got a good point to. Yeah, if you speak to Siobhan about the whole line, she's got all the information. There's also the information on the sort of weighting that we do and stuff like that. So all that information is there. Have you met Siobhan?
I haven't.
No, well, it's probably good. Is she there?
That's
But you can email her. But she's there till 12 o'clock every morning of the week, so I don't know what your sort of working arrangements are. We've just got to be busy. But yeah, if you want to make arrangements, pop down, see, she'll provide you all that background information, then you can have a look. So the second, course is to
So for this year, I was suggesting that we keep to the current.
that's my proposal to stick with it, not to alter it halfway through. I don't see how you can do
Would you
it.
like to change your proposal just to say that instead of for the rest of the year until the working group reports back and we make a decision then whether we change it halfway through or whether we do that next year?
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that, because I don't think we can carry on for 6 months and then suddenly change policies halfway through the year, because if we still get grants in, some people might be disadvantaged. I don't see how you can change it halfway through. You've either got to stick with it with the money we've budgeted for this year and have a new set of proposals that go into effect next year. But I don't see how if people are applying for a grant in December, you can say, I'm sorry, you're not going to get anything. They're going to say, well, everybody else that's applied before now has. Why are we different? And I don't think you can have 2 sets of rules. We've either got to stick with what we've got. Because every grant that's applied for has to be approved anyway. So you say yes, no, or £50 or £100. But we've all set spending limit £100 from other parishes have been known to throw hundreds and hundreds of pounds at people with grant. At the end of the year, they haven't got anything left for people who've got a genuine application. So I'd rather, until, I mean, we're only talking about till March, I'd rather stick with what we've got for this year. So that's my proposal.
That is the proposal.
Are you second?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you seconding the working group?
No, he's second.
Well, we've done that, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done that.
The working group, the original proposal is to stick to current arrangements for this year. The amendment is or until the working group recommendations are accepted before that time. So what Stuart's saying is that if in 6 months' time the working group and the council agree that the policy should be changed, it can be changed. What Clive's saying is that it will be till the end of the financial year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Will
It's
the
makes more sense.
amendment say something first?
Yes, I was going to come back on Stuart's point actually. I think it's valid. I think that if our working group comes back and reports, say for example, on something procedural or points for consideration or assessing the grants, I think you're right in that we should stick with a rolling grant cycle because that's what's being proposed. But the criteria that we use to judge the grants may change depending on the outcome of that working group, and that will be something that will be very easy to publicise, and that wouldn't affect the rolling consideration that we've got at the moment.
I just want to make one more. I'm still not convinced that changing horses in midstream is the right way to do it. I think we're going to create problems for
let's go
ourselves.
year end then to make it simple.
Well, the Stuart's proposal, didn't you say consider?
Well, we will consider them as part of the budget setting process, so it will be a consideration, but all I'm trying to do is make it easier for ourselves and have some consistency that we stick with what we've got until the start of the next financial year, and then whatever we agree at the budget setting meetings and the working group will sort of as a protocol, if you like, for how we assess grants, then we put that into place. But we've got to do that, we've got to let people know what we put in place, if you understand what I mean. We've got to give them notice that things might change. Hopefully it changes for the better, we might give people more money, but that's something that will come out in the wash.
Well, after thinking about it, I'm happy to run till end of year. So I'll go with what you said. I will go back then.
Can I just ask, when the proposal's made and then someone seconds it, is at the end of this discussion and you have a vote? Is that procedure correct? I'm quite new council.
If you get a proposal and second, then it's one person can talk about it. Yes. And the person who proposed it at the end can submit.
Someone, yes.
You can talk about it.
You can only talk about it once, so the point now, Stuart withdraws his amendment.
Can I just say, the thing about it is, once a proposal's been made and it's been seconded, the rules say every councillor gets one more chance to speak, except for the person who's proposed it. But, and I need to have a look at the standing order, has the chairman not got discretion to extend the discussion if he thinks it's not been discussed enough?
Yes, I can do that if
I think it's in standing orders.
if people want more discussion.
So, yes, it's right, we can extend it if we wish.
Has everybody had their views? Can I? I've got Jonathan seconded my proposal. Can we take a vote on it then, all those in favour? Thank you. Item 7.2, grant request by Mr. FC.
Where was that?
That was on the last one, it was for £100.
Can I just come in on it this one? They're asking for £100, and I think we've given them an income. This is not the £100 we're going to give them, for them to give back to us in full.
Well, this is...
because to me, it doesn't, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it doesn't sound like if we're giving a grant to the group for them to pay us back as a deposit to play on the pitch, it defeats the object.
Well, this is one of the things that group's working group will look at. I know it's a strange system, but you can't, if you grant them that money, it's up to them really what they do with it at the end of the day. They may choose to use it, but they may buy a new kit with it and footballs and everything else, which is going to be they'll help to them. But what I'm saying is we've traditionally done this to help groups in the village. We've had 3 football teams in the village. I think these are the only club that have actually paid their way on the recreation ground this year. The other two debtors. And what they bring in, if they found that pitch, they're paying another £300 towards the upkeep of the recreation ground. You have to bear in mind if we stop helping these community groups out, and if they don't play, we suffer at the end of the day because we don't get income from what they pay. I know it's a slightly bizarre situation, but I mean, I don't have a problem with granting them the money. They've all been all right to deal with. Everything else, it depends on what other people say. It all sounds like this. People will give them money and they'll pay back to us for iron the hole or whatever. It's just a fact of life, but at least we will get that money back.
Well, I don't see a problem with whatever they spend it on. You can't give them a grant and tell them what to spend it on. What difference does it make?
You can't. I mean, I used to play for football teams down here. We relied on that grant to keep us going because of all the on costs that we've got. You know, the registration, the leagues, whatever, insurance.
Can I propose then that we just accept it and give them the grant then, so we can just move this on?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I agree with that. I think we need to. This has got to be part of the way that we look at the entire thing. But we need to promote community groups that they do use the facilities down here, because otherwise, it's not what it's there for, is it? It's there to be used. So I think we have to take a pragmatic view on this. So I've got a proposer, seconder. Miles, all those in favour? Yeah, thank you. Now request by North Anston Methodist Church. Again, if you brought all your pipe, and I don't know if you've not, they've filled everything in that there is to fill in as far as I can see. I'm just trying to find it in just back on this box, we've got a large amount of again, this is one of the traditional grants that we've developed out with the various churches in the village. We normally do quite a bit at Christmas time, South Anston Methodist Church and the St James's Church. The application is towards helping them buy a screen and projector for them to use in their church for the groups that use that, because they get some user groups as well, not only the parish hall, so it's spreading around a little bit. So I think they're asking for £100. Is that?
Sorry, did it actually say how much they're asking for on this form?
Well, we put, I don't think they've actually put a figure in, but normally if it's a local community group, it's £100. Say outside the village, it's 50. That's the basis we always worked on. So can I comment this?
When I first saw it, I'll be honest, my first impression was what a cheap asking to pay for a projector. I think it's one of these type that comes down. But when I actually read it further, I think it has to have a community value in the sense that it's not just for the Methodist Church, it's for, is it Girl Guides?
Girl Guides, Messy Place, Shoebox Dropping, Roll Singers, etc.
So it's going to be, although it only sounds as though we're going to give the grant to the Methodist Church, it will benefit lots of local groups. To that end, can I propose that we give them a grant of £100?
They all are Christian related groups, so they're all marriage related groups, like Girl Brigade is church related, Messy Place is for about 5-year-old children to introduce to God, to preach about God. And they all relate to church, they're not community groups, they're not for the wider community.
Well, yeah, just Girl
Guides
and
Girls Brigade, which is
all right, sorry.
similar, but it's
Again, I don't have
church
a problem with that, because we give grants to St James's Church and South Anston Methodist Church, so if you take one view on one, then you've got to take the same view on all the others, so I don't have a problem with Stuart's proposal.
I'd like to propose a slight amendment to Stuart's proposal. I agree that we should give them a grant, but I agree that at the same time we should write to them and we should specify that the hall facilities should be available to all groups. The equipment should be available to all groups regardless of faith or why they're renting the facilities.
It's what a Methodist for
We just need to. I think we just need to get that right.
I think it's very difficult though to say you've got to do that and what we're going to do. You check out whether they're doing that.
We've just said we can't tell the football team
You
what
can't
to do with the money.
tell.
I can see where you're coming from. You are taking it for the wider community, but it's. I think it's going to reach out to a lot of people in the community. So I understand what you're saying. But you're right. I think again, if we're going to say we can't dictate the football, we have to do it.
I don't think they preclude anybody from attending the church.
Well, I've been down there a couple of times, not for religious reasons, but I've been down to the point. It's quite open anyway, so it's not I don't think they would exclude them.
You know, I'd say, the Welsh Singers is not for people that just join that church, it's anybody.
I've never found any of the churches exclude anybody, particularly children. That's been my own experience.
No, I think I agree with Christine entirely that I don't think any of them preclude anybody from using the facilities. So.
And they don't ask where you've come from, they just welcome you in, they don't really care where you come from.
Then I'll wait for Ivan to come back. No, I need... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, I wasn't saying that people that they're not going to let members of the public go. So we're not going to get to a point of whether they welcome non-believers. But you need to take to account the accounts and the contributions that they do have.
Well, I think you find that with most groups, they've all got some money.
Well, I don't think... Sorry.
You know, you can't stop them applying, and that's what we're here for as a parish council, to administer these grants to these groups to keep them going. I mean, you can soon spend all your money on certain projects, but you have to keep fundraising, and that's what we're here for, to administer community grants. So, Miles?
I think I'll second
Who's the man, please, man?
I think I'll second Drew's proposal that I think we should give them the money, but just remind them that it's alright.
It's a proposal.
It also depends on the second amendment.
I'll wait for it. I just think we have to be very, very careful as to what conditions we lay down when we give these grants. We do ask people for various information, but again,
this could come into the remit. I mean, there's obviously a discussion going on about certain, what we can and can't do with the grants and what groups. Maybe that's going to be part of the working group discussions. Is do we look at what we're going to do, or again, we need to go over the minefield.
You see, it's very difficult because you just discussed it for the investment, and the only people that are going to play football for them are 18 plus males, so you sort of precluding certain people straight away, and I think you can't, even if you do that, then you've got to absolutely, it's a bit of a can of worms that we're opening, but you need to look at that as part of that working group. So it's kind of do.
Well, I've made a proposal, I just need seconding or
We've got some second for that.
anybody wants to.
Christine? Can I have all those in favour? £200 grant?
Do we have an against, or do we just...
Well, you can.
Well,
There was a majority for us, so
Yeah, yes.
Item 5, sorry, 4, all hire grant by Bennington and District Horticultural Society.
Can I just come on this one as well? We discussed this grant at the charity meeting. And if I remember rightly, we agreed a 50% discount for the hall for the one event, is it?
Yes, the July then.
Right. Are we now being asked to look at the whole
Yes.
grant again, for the whole year?
Well, I mean, we've taken that vote about looking for the whole year. If I can just give you this information. I think you've got that as well, haven't you? I've had an email from Alf Bailey, who's the chair of the Industrial Horticulture Society, and he's reiterated what he said before, but what he wants to point out is the other money that they actually do pay to the charity or to the parish. And although they're asking for the 50% discount on the 4 events, they do pay the other half of the higher charges. So they're actually paying, we spelled it out for me, they also, for the 4 events, they have 8 talks here a year, which they pay £54 for a time. So that's another £432 that they contribute. They have their committee meetings here, which contributes another £76. And in total, what they pay the parish council or the charity is £1,205 a year. Now, if we take that 50% off, and they're forced to pay the entire thing, then there's no doubt that the society will not be able to pay its way, because they only raise the money from people paying when they attend the talks and raffles and other things. So if we don't go down that route, then I think we're in danger of putting them out of business, which is something I don't want to do. So that's one of the reasons why I think we should stick with what we've got for this year and look at how we can improve the situation next year for both ourselves and them. But I certainly don't want to put groups like that out of business. They've got a lot of big membership in Anston, but I think the biggest percentage is 136 members in Anston. Very hard.
Because we've agreed that we're going to just keep things going until the end of the year, can I just propose that we agree to that? Because it's not costing us any money in real terms. We're not giving them anything, we're just giving them free use. So can I propose that we accept that and we grant that?
Okay, has anybody second that?
I'm not second it, I'm just trying to register interest because I'm a member of the Horticulture Society.
Sorry, I missed that, Jonathan.
I'm a member of the Horticulture Society, so I've got an interest. I'm a member of the society.
Right.
And I think we need to give them certainty for this next year, because so I don't have a problem with that. We'll second it for Miles will second that. Stuart? 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 Sorry, no, it's all right.
It's all right.
So we've got a second proposer. Can we have a vote on awarding that to the Horticulture Society? Thank you. Grant request for Diddington High School. Again, read this week. We have given grants to the high school before. I've been in contact with them about this on another matter. They applied to myself as a board councillor for some community leadership fund, which I've agreed to give them. And I did ask them if, from my point of view, if children from Anston and Woodsetts are involved in this, which they've said that they're part of that awards evening. That's really what you want to do. But normally we've given grants to the high school before, and that's one of the first things we ask, as to what, does it involve children from Anston? And that's also the first question that we ask them. So, and he does.
I personally have no objection to giving the high school a grant for things that are relevant, but to me this is just not relevant, and I really don't think we can be seen to be giving taxpayers money for a drinks evening and nibbles. I know it's alcohol free and it's for the kids, but that's not the point. The point is it's for a drinks evening and it's for nibbles. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really appropriate for us. I
think it is for awards as well. It depends as to which bit it falls.
Awards are separate, but certainly for the drinks and nibbles.
Well, I think if you read that, you can ask that if you want that, if you do make a grant, that it goes towards the awards, and then the parish council would be named as a supplier. Well, we wouldn't certainly be named as a supplier of nibbles and non-alcoholic drinks, but we would be named as any of the awards that are presented to the children and such like, and we made a donation. It's entirely up to yourself.
Have they had grants previously for this same thing?
No. we've given them grants for other things, but not this. This is
Not
a new
this,
thing.
so-
This is a
so
first, this is a one-off. I think first time we've done this.
Right, so there's no real reason to start giving out
Can I?
grants for this.
Can I
Let's
say?
do it then, Miles. Then.
Right, because of the present policy, we only give grants out of £50 or £100, so that precludes some of the other things they're asking for. Again, I can see quite clearly what you're saying. I would suggest, I'm not making calls, I'm suggesting, that possibly we give them a grant of £50 for the golden ticket prize and just say to them, we need a specific project possibly next time for it, and then I'm only suggesting that.
I'm just trying to find it.
Why would I thought
C19. That helps.
So
Three. Yeah.
Three.
Yeah. This was actually sent in March, so we should have considered it theoretically 3 months. I think the date is the 23rd of June, which is the awards evening. Now, as I say, if you want to give them a grant, you can ask if that is not, which is £50 for a golden ticket prize. I'm not sure what that. We can certainly specify not nibbles and drinks, and could ask for it to be on one of the trophies if people do want to give them
Can I just give them
that £50. Sorry, go on.
Can I just interrupt that? Could we're not going to say maybe we need £50, but not specify what it's for? And then if we come back next year, we'll have to ask a more detailed question. I don't know, sorry.
I actually received awards of that award thing quite a few years ago. What I have known businesses do is they also send the same as businesses. You can buy the trophies, or you can, instead of giving them money, you can buy the things they want to spend on. So just take them to items concert, they don't spend it on food, you can actually buy them. They give you, if you reply back to them quickly, probably suggest something you can buy that as opposed to giving them.
Well, I've had communication with them from my point of view, for a council, and you can ask if you want, or if we wanted the parish council name attaching to one of the trophies, we can do that, and we can make sure that people do know that we've donated that money to them, so we do get something out of it. And so we could ask them that we spent on a specific item like a trophy.
Can I propose then that we offer them a grant of £50 for a specific trophy then?
Are we talking for one of the Oscar trophies? And then we'll...
Yeah. It's awards from doing media GCSEs and
Can you say that again, please, Miles?
It's like those of, is that the Rusty, which is like media awards for doing well in GCSEs, is a recognised thing, national thing as well. There's other things there as well.
We'll specify whether it's put towards or it buys a trophy. I don't know how many there are. Well, that's because the Oscar trophies, so how many that is.
Is it towards it?
Right. Well, if we ask that it is, let's ask that it's put on a specific trophy. It's a donation from the parish council, and then we actually get something.
It's been recognised then as well.
And if I think I'll be asked to attend, I will make sure we get a mention when I'm up there. No, not necessarily. No, that's not good. That's not overboard. But if we can, and then we might as well get some recognition out in the day. So can I have a proposal and a second for that? Second. Right, so all those in favour, £50 donation. Thank you.
Can we have an against vote?
Yeah, sorry if you're against it. Yes. Yeah. Oh, do you want to record a vote, Christine? No, we just make a record against it. Item 6, grant request by Rotherham Hospice. 7-6. Again, traditionally we've always made a donation to the hospice because it does care for people for this area that use it. We're running fine. 1926. 26. Yeah, it's from the fundraising team. So traditionally always given this £50 grant.
Having used the services, and quite recently, they actually, the nurses there, the hospitals went above and beyond the normal duties. So I'm quite in favour of this. Can I propose that we give a grant of £50 to the Rotherham Hospice?
Have a second for that? 3 seconds. All those in favour? Sure, thank you. I have to agree with Stu, I think they do a fantastic job. We should support them, because they take people from all over this area. So. Item 8, to consider communications. Representations by the Anston Festival Day Committee to receive, discuss, complaint regarding the assumption that Anston Day will not go ahead this year. Consider whether the event should be supported. Well, we'll go to the crucial bit, I think, is we've had all the information from Mrs. Thomas. I, again, think we need to help this on its way, get it on its feet.
Can I just go in?
Sorry, no, I'm first. Ivan, Stewart,
Sorry, Stewart, that was a bit rude. Sorry, go ahead.
Message change people wanting to
I'm
speak.
sorry. Before I say what I want to say, and let Stuart in, I'm sorry, Stuart. Can I just ask a question? And it's a very brief answer, please. And that is, you mentioned you're asking for free use of the hall. Is that on the day, or is it before the day as well? Or?
It's on the day.
Thank you.
To compensate for the toilets.
That's lovely. Thank you.
There is an issue with the toilet there, I think, or a potential issue.
We're
The
hiring.
number.
Well, I think you're hiring.
On June.
Hang on, just Colin, hang on, let's do it in an order.
So now I've asked the question, that leads me on to something else.
Right, go on then. That's supplementary then.
Well, yeah, it was just part of this statement I'm making. I think the amount of work that's gone into this is huge, and I think it would be mad not to support it. And I think now that they've got charitable status, or looking at that, I think that's brilliant. I also think it's good that they're looking at diary and planning for future years, which will help us. I know we've had a backlog and we took a bit of time getting to it, but I actually think we're in a better position now for future years to support this as well as this year. And I think, considering that they're going to put all the effort to plan it this year, I think we should support it and we should agree it.
Anybody else who can speak to it?
Yeah, right. First off, I'll make it loud and clear, I have no objection to Anston Festival Day taking part. I do take objection to Mrs. Thomas coming to these meetings and pointing a finger at me and saying she has a problem.
Do it.
However, I've said the piece.
Go on.
I have a problem with the way this is being planned. I'm all for the festival day. I'm quite happy for it to go ahead. We've only been asked for a grant for the hall. The higher of the recreation ground, which we do in the past, we have said we would charge for it. There's never been mentioned. We have the issue of is Elliot's Field required for parking? We've never had nothing about that. And again, do we charge for that? And the other one is, and this is a big one, on the financial information we were given, all those figures are based on estimates. So, in effect, the figures, and I hesitate to use the word are no good because they're all estimates. But the other thing is, on there, the burger van and the ice cream van, the festival committee are proposing to take money off them. And what that will mean is, if they take, say, £50 off the vans will then be conducting business, i.e. they will be handing over products to members of the public and they'll in exchange for money. The trust deed document says quite clearly you can't conduct business on the recreation ground. There's other points, it's like when they bring the wagon onto the grass, who's going to pay for the damage if it rains when they pull it off? Who's going to pay for the electricity that they're going to plug in to the parish hall? There's at the moment, I don't think we've seen sufficient planning to turn around and make a sufficient grant to this group. We're not seeing nothing. There's lots of unanswered questions, and I think we need more detail.
Would you use the microphone, please, Jonathan?
I've not started speaking yet. So
I know.
fully
I'm I'm asking before you do.
I thought we were actually going to have a vote about the actual, giving the whole usage, not any other things which are not to do with grant for the whole. I suggest make a proposal, may have a vote for grant for the whole, and then any other problems or issues can be discussed later on. Because that's the main issue that we're talking about now.
Well, it is, I agree with
We
you.
are
It's
fussed around about other things which aren't
it's to give the whole hire for that day. I think Mrs. Thomas will perhaps agree. I know you can't help but have estimates at this moment in time.
No.
It's impossible not to do that other than the money that you're going
Like
to get
you
from.
would have
I would. So it gives you some certainty as a basis to work from. But I think you've obviously, and you probably admit there's still more work to be done, because that's a template that you're working to there. And I think we need discussions with yourselves, the group, and Siobhan and ourselves as well, to see it, to make sure things are going along the right lines. But I agree with Jonathan, this is the application is for the whole hire. I think what we need to do is then resolve the other issues to make sure we're happy with. Yeah. Well, Michael just said to me the charge for the recreation yard is only about £30 for the day, so that's not a problem. And Elliott's Field is not being used for.
It's never been charged for.
Never been charged for Elliott's Field, so we've got, we've had that dealt with before. So I as I said, this moment in time, I'm prepared.
So that's not a proposal.
I'm quite prepared to go along with that we give you the whole hire, and then the cost of the recreation ground, well, it's neither here nor there, that can be met, I'm sure, out of whatever funding you get. It's really whatever else needs to be resolved from. I know Stuart's got questions about the insurance, but you've got to, that's obviously got to be sorted out, so, your public liability, etc., will take care of if there's any damage done, then it will be made good after that. Hopefully, if not, if a nice dry warm day, then we shan't get any damage. But I'm quite happy with that as it stands at the moment. If anybody else wants to come out. Sorry.
Miles was there.
Can I just finish what I was saying?
No,
When I
sorry.
made a proposal, do we not second it afterwards and then take a vote?
We can still just propose three.
Or does everyone need to have one more go?
I haven't proposed that we
Well,
give the whole hire.
yeah.
So,
Second that.
my proposal was to agree that we'll support them in this respect. I can amend that proposal if you want, so that we can write to the group and ask them to clarify what else it is that they need for the Anston Day.
Can we have that in writing then, please?
Yes, we'll send you that, no problem. Do you want to, Miles, go on, you've been waiting long and then it's around to that.
You should be aware as well, there's some time restraints on this, like, got till August when this has got to be arranged, and still have to arrange with all the other people that could potentially be using that area as well. Is it not, well, I know it's been quite specific about the hall, can't we expand that ourselves, propose that we accept use of both the field and the other field over there? Tonight.
I mean, if you want to amend that.
That would be me withdrawing my amendment, which I'm happy to do.
Can I just come in before you make? This is the point I've just made. What you're asking us now is to vote on extending what they actually want. We'll have nothing in front of us to say what we're going to vote on or what we can consider. And the point I'm making is, we're being asked only for the hall, and we should have been asked for a complete plan of what we want to do. We've got time to come back before August and rectify them type of problems. Are you going to make a...
There's already a proposal and amendment.
Right, so what's the amendment?
The proposal is the free use of the hall plus right to the group to see what else they require. The amendment is to include the field.
Right, I want to throw something else in the mix. We've just had a discussion tonight about giving the Horticultural Society only a 50% reduction in booking for the hall. So now according to the council, they're now treating one group, community group, different from another community. This is something it's not just for tonight, this is something I've always said, is that every group should be treated the same. So I don't believe we can really give a full grant to the festival group and not give a full grant to the Horticultural Society.
Well, go on, Miles, I'll make my point in a minute.
I like, again, it's something to discuss when I get this group sorted out, but we can't really wait that long. But it's, the Horticulture Society is more of a private group. It's like, it does welcome anybody. The Anston Day event is open to everyone at any day. There's no charge for people coming in.
So it's a free event.
It's a free event.
Completely free.
The Horticulture Society, do they actually open their events to everybody?
No, you have to pay.
So you're not allowed to speak?
Sorry, hang on. Come on, let's conduct business properly. Go on, Jonathan.
With the Horticulture Society, you have to pay to get into the fairs.
20p.
Yeah, but it's still a fee, still a charge to get into it. And the actual shows are attended, but not, you don't get...
You don't get the full
Can I ask just a third question? How many people attended last year to the Anston Day?
The estimate was 3,500.
So we don't get anywhere near 3,500 for
You get about 150, 200 or something.
So I think the money's well worth spent.
Well, you have to bear in mind as well that the Horticulture Society get 50% off 4 events, and that's a constant. I worked it out something like 32 hours a year.
For minimum.
This is for 5-6 hours a day, compared with the Horticulture Society. So at pro rata, this is not a big deal as far as I'm concerned. I think that the Horticulture Society are quite happy with that. It keeps them afloat, and it's over. Let's say it's 4 events over the year. At about 32 hours. This is for one day. No more than that. It's 7 hours. So it's, and the number of people they attract, I think, is over that period. I think it's, I don't have a problem with that. But again, it's
I know,
what
but
people
it's
want
more
to do.
than one day. It does.
Christine?
I don't think you can compare one group with another because they're completely different. And there's no reason not to give this group a one-off grant to help them out after they've done so much work. I can't see any
I
harm in
entirely
that.
agree with you. I mean,
Just give it to them as a one-off,
at the
and
end,
then it can be reviewed next year.
I think you're quite right, because that's what I'm going to suggest. We get feedback after the event from the group, the charity, and they come back to us and tell us, how it went, etc., etc. And then we build on that for next year, and we see how we go and how we can work together. Because at the end of the day, we're all part of the same community. We're supposed to be helping each other out. There's no point, working against each other. That's the ethos of what we're supposed to be doing. So I don't have a problem with that. But to get this first year out of the way, we'll give them all the help that we can, and then we'll look at it after the event. We'll sit down again at the back end of the year and see where we go, whatever else we can give you, next year. I don't think you do. Does anybody do you want to? Sorry, Jonathan.
I was just going to say, do we have a proposal and a seconder? To conclude the answer.
Yeah, we've got a proposal.
Can I second?
Yeah.
It's been proposed. It's the second.
Right. So we've got your amendment, which is to include the field. Miles. Your amendments to include the field. Have we got a second for that? There's a second. Have we got all those in favour? Please show. Christine?
Sorry.
We voted on that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know.
I think it's important.
That's the amendment.
I'm half with this man.
So the use of the board, rather than see what else they require.
To read that.
So it's free use of the hall and field, and to write to the group to see what else they require. That is your substantive motion at the moment. So you
Proposal in a second. This is.
I don't have to wait to write unless different commission now.
well, it is, but you'd write to see what else they
Oh,
require.
it's asking what else is part of that we so that's.
So it's free use of the hall and field, that would be agreed immediately, and then write to the group to see if there's anything else they
I
require.
see.
So that's the motion. We need to second it.
Can I have a second to that?
Well, I'll second that.
Can I vote on that, please? All those in favour? Thank you. Carry on. Item 9.
Do you want to comment on?
No,
I was
sorry,
going
Drew.
sorry.
I do apologise.
Am I allowed to say thank you?
Well, yeah.
It was actually to make another proposal,
Oh, sorry.
but not terribly substantive. I hope a terribly substantive proposal actually. actually, but I think it would require anything difficult. I think that we need to show support for Anston Day. I'd like to propose that we resolve to work collaboratively with the Anston Day group. So,
Thank you.
as a new councillor, having sat here, I haven't been party to any of the discussions in the past. It does seem that there's a little bit of friction on both sides, and I think for this event to go ahead successfully, we need the Anston Day Festival organisers to come to the council, to work with the council in a spirit of collaboration, and again, on the part of the council, we need to collaborate with them. It's something that's great for the community, and I think we should support it, but we all need to work together to achieve it.
Can you start not for the council not to take over, just to?
No, I mean the group are quite capable of running it themselves. I mean, if they want any
We
council,
are, but we would like to
if you want any council representatives on it.
If you've done with the
Sorry.
you've got to do it with
Well, we were still discussing the issue because we said we would ask questions of Mrs. Thomas. So,
Yeah, but the thing is, see, this is another point is, we're having arguments with one section of the community because we're saying they can't speak, then we're allowing other people to speak, and we're in, should we say, a session. We need to have an even
well, let's.
thing spread across the board.
I'd like to take Councillor Tarmy's views on board. I think he's actually speaking a lot of common sense and he's coming at it from a fresh perspective, and I think we should welcome those. So, anybody else has any? So, do you want to read that? I mean,
The work, to work collaboratively with the Anston Day.
we'll vote on this. Right, all those in, go and second for that. All those in favour?
Should we record it? No?
Sorry?
What? Can we do a recorded vote? And show, because then we can show it later.
Yeah, if you want, yeah. We've not moved on to
Was
the
that what's-
We've not moved on to the
Well,
next
it's
one.
it's the same.
Yeah, it's all right, I'm just going to bring it back to this. I'm going to get rid of this. 10. There is 11.
It's being recorded.
Oh, right.
Right, with a particular vote, recorded vote.
Councillor Jepson?
4.
Councillor Machin? 4. Councillor Manship?
4.
Councillor Sadler?
What are we doing? I'm sorry.
We're voting on the
What you've just voted on, but a recorded vote.
working with the
Right, 4.
Yes, four.
Councillor Tarmy?
4.
Councillor Thornton?
Sorry.
thought.
Because the organisers made threats at me and threatened gestures, I'm going to abstain from the vote.
Okay, it's not a discussion, but we'll take that.
No, I'm allowed to make comments, I've abstained and I've stated my reasons.
That's fine.
Councillor Thorne?
4.
Councillor James?
Four, I said four,
Yeah,
didn't
you
I?
did.
I don't
Councillor
think we're up to you.
That's 4.
What's Stuart interrupt?
Yeah.
Judy. Item 9 is to consider communication via friends and Anston burial ground. What I'd like to propose to try and work his way around this item. We've got 4 or 5 sets of minutes from the burial ground working group, various comments and requests in them. What I'd like to do is to set up a meeting with them separate to this council meeting. If I can have a couple of councillors that will come with me. I'd like to have a site visit up to the cemetery to have a look at the work that they've done and see where we go from there, because there are some issues that I think we need to resolve with them. And I know they've been waiting a long time for some of these decisions, but they do have cost implications to them, so I think we need to have a look at the work that they've done, what they're proposing to do, and then sit down and go through these minutes with them. Some of them relate to questions that I've asked, and I've not been happy about the answers I've got or not got. And I think we need to see where we are with them, how we work with them, or how they work with us, and how we can carry on doing that. But I think we need to meet with them separately and bring it back to the council, any discussions that we've had, and put it in front of members for a discussion and a vote and anything. So, as I say, Stuart, go on.
Yeah, I mean, is that a proposal? That we
Yes.
need separate? Well, I'll second that, because there's lots of issues that I think we do need to sit down face to face and, should we say, enlighten them what they probably can and can't do, besides other requests. Can I just ask, why are we receiving the minutes of their meetings on our agenda? We've no real need to do that. Because if it carries on in the future, means we're going to have to just agree to receive their minutes every meeting, which is a waste of time.
Yeah, I think basically they've done it because I had the meeting with them and the clerk before Christmas in November, I think we met them, didn't we? And we still wanted some issues clarifying. I think what they've done is kept sending the minutes through to keep us in the loop with what they're looking to do. But I think we've got a build-up of that many, there are lots of issues in there, and I think we need to sort out where we stand with the group because of our legal responsibilities and also what work they want to undertake on there and what cost implications it has, because again it's all going to take part of the budget discussions that we've got to have as to whether we can afford some of these things. Or
well, I'm saying we don't need to receive their minutes. No. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'd rather discuss them with them face to face and have a site visit where people can see what they're doing and meet them on site and discuss what they want to do. It's much easier sometimes than actually just sitting there and reading through that, because if you don't go and have a look, then you've no idea what the situation is with the search.
Are you going to write them or warn them? So that
Yeah, well, I'll ask Michael to write to and set up a meeting, set a meeting up in the next couple of weeks, so we can arrange the meeting and then come back and have a meeting. So we'll let people know when that is, if anybody can.
are we going to let them bring their issues towards it? We're going to raise the issues.
Well,
they know how we can.
Well, I think what we're going to do is ask if we can discuss the minutes of the session and the questions that they've asked in them, because we've got some questions to ask them, so I think we need to try and resolve it.
So
If people want that, unless the meeting might well be in the day, so that's obviously going to preclude some people. Do you want it? I don't think you want to go to the cemetery at night. It is light at the moment, but it's not. So we'll try and arrange that at convenient time if we get a couple of the councillors to turn up, and then we'll go and have a look and see what work they're proposing, and see if it's what we're happy with. So can I propose that as a saying advice to all those in favour? Please show. Thank you.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yeah, no,
Is
not
there something on there that you want me to be involved in?
we'll put you down some training.
Yeah, thanks.
There's only, it's probably only 5-10 minutes. Okay. No, that's fine.
I thought you were going to say wait.
No,
You can sit there outside. Wait.
no, that's, thanks, thank you.
If there's anything else, just let me know.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers.
Item 10, to approve additional 20 hours admin time for starting with the new health and safety software system, as recommended by the staffing subcommittee. That was in March, was it March? March meeting.
Just got a software system.
So the software system is up and running. It's additional time that Siobhan's put in.
right, can I ask first of all?
Sorry, somebody else, not Siobhan. I beg your pardon.
Can I ask first of all, what is this? Because we've never ever seen any minutes from the staffing subcommittee ever since it was started. And it's a point I've raised before. So could somebody explain that?
Yes, Michael. And Mike, you still go for.
Yeah, there's a company that does a health and safety software system, obviously computer-based, and they don't work in our sector. They work in the ecclesiastical sector, doing the health and safety for the churches and things like that. We've got an arrangement with them where, free of charge, they're going to provide this software, and they're going to learn from our experiences in this sector, and then they might put it out into the local council sector in general. So that's the arrangement. It's up and running, and we just need somebody to do some data inputting, which is where the 20 hours comes in, so that our existing risk assessments can be uploaded, scanned, uploaded into their system, and we'll take it from there.
I think Sorry.
So can I come back in here? So we've got an
Ecumenical.
group
Ecclesiastical.
giving us software, and in return they're going to use our experience possibly to run this out to other councils. Well, are they going to make profit on this or money on this? Because it sounds like we're entering into a contract, to be honest.
The council will be approved, the contract came to this council and it's approved.
So it's been approved anyway. All we're looking for here is the 20 hours of additional input to get that system up and running. Hopefully, we're finally catching up with the 21st century, some of the systems that we've got, which is not before time. And at the end of the day, for that input, I think it's going to save us a lot of time and money, and things can be updated fairly quickly. So it's got to be a benefit for everybody. Everybody concerned.
Can I come on again? Because why do we need to ask for 20 hours additional admin time? I mean, I've worked in offices quite extensively, and when I have projects like this coming in, I used to have to fit it around the work I was already doing, i.e. 5 minutes here, half an hour there, and do your time management. So why are we having to have an extra 20 hours admin time?
Well, that's obviously what she's putting over and is it sure August?
This will be for somebody else to do it.
This is somebody else to do the work, not sure.
Is this 20 hours one-off?
Yes, it's only one-off payment.
So again, the next...
That software
To get the
system.
system
Yeah, get it installed and all the data
Really
put into it.
So the next question then is, why we're having somebody from outside doing it? Why can't our staff do it?
Well, I think it's the fact that they've not got enough time. We'd have to pay them anyway to do it, because it'd be externally above their actual work time that they're spending on that. I mean, I'm just happy that we've actually got something and get it up and running. And as Michael said, the additional, that earlier work was approved anyway, I think, wasn't it, by council, the installation.
Yeah, software is approved.
Yes, computer software is approved.
Can I just ask a final question on this? Can I just ask, is this staff in the subcommittee still up and running?
Not at this moment, there's nothing.
So we need to reinstigate the staff in the subcommittee. Maybe we need to have a staffing review. If we've got to authorise 20 extra hours to do jobs that are essential for the council, maybe we need a staffing review done.
one job.
Well, that'd be a different meeting to.
Well,
Not
so
the
just
agenda,
asking a
right?
question.
Jonathan, you up to?
The 20 hours, how in value, how much is that? Yeah.
It'll be
Just
living wage.
So that makes that a really good value piece of software.
£140.
Really, it's no
£140, £150.
when all the software costs thousands.
Yeah.
At the end of the
It
day,
doesn't matter.
if it's
If
going
the
to
company
save
makes
us money, it'll save us money and time at the end of
Yeah.
the day, what we put
We
from
benefit,
that.
someone else benefits.
Yeah.
It's no discussion really. Well,
Can I?
Can I...
Sorry, Christine.
I'm not following you very well. Is this... can you just explain, Michael? Is this... we're not paying for the software?
No.
So is this some sort of an experiment by the company?
Not really. It's a well-established software, but it's used, like I say, in the church sphere. A lot of the risk assessments are exactly the same because we've got lone workers, we've got working at heights, we've got even trees in churchyards, building maintenance, all that sort of thing. The only module, if you like, that they don't have is the play equipment. But other than that, I think everything more or less is covered in the actual software.
So is it all been installed?
Yes,
It's all been installed?
Yes. This is to approve that additional
So
payment.
this is just for the hours for admin?
Yeah, it's a one-off payment, but at the end of the day, we'll be able to input all our health and safety stuff onto this.
This is for somebody to
system.
come in and take our existing risk assessments and upload them into the system.
So I presume this was needed, wasn't it?
Yes, you've got to upload the information on the system, but now we've got it here, we can utilise it all the time for all our health and safety assessments, and for whatever we do, we've got a piece of kit there that's basically only cost us the installation, or the cost of the. It's not cost us anything as such. It's just that 20 hours being input in.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
are we happy to approve that? Can I have a proposer and a second? Second. All those in favour? Item 11, Robert, it says 10. To receive, consider training calendar and approve attendance at the LCAS seminar, 21/3. Am I right? Because I just realised I might just put all the things to the side. Trying to work through it, and they're all set out. Yorkshire Local Councils Association Training and Professional Services calendar 2015. If you have you got it, you've got it there, Drew.
Could I go?
Yeah.
I think there's 2 courses that are about, one's for new councils, is there for chairman? I'm not sure.
Yes, there is one for chairman.
Can we, I recommend that the new councillors go on the courses. It's quite informative, and it's an informal setting anyway, so you don't have to do tests and things. Michael, I'm looking at you again. Would you not be able to possibly go back to Yank and ask them if they could come here to do group? We did that 4 years ago, didn't we?
If the group's big enough, we can do that.
Right, and maybe maybe something to do with Dinnington or that. But what I'm thinking is, could we get a reduced presence? Last time we did these courses, there was £35, not £45.
I think we spoke about this in morning, didn't we? That not going, they're tired. Go on. Ian Strong came out from YLCA, must be 4 or 5 years since, and it's quite interesting because actually I think the ones that are still on the council could do with a refresher. It is handy for new council. So if we could get all 15 in attendance.
I said, sorry to interrupt, but maybe ask Dinnington if they like to, if depending on the numbers they require, and maybe get Dinnington to come down to share the cost.
Yeah, I think we just, we'll see if they think 15 is a suitable number, if we can get everybody to attend. I think it is worthwhile. It will be held here then, so nobody, they come here rather than us hiking out to Ecclesfield.
That's my issue.
Yeah, well, it is a problem getting out there. We'd have to arrange gathering. So if we can arrange that here, are people happy to attend? It's only a couple of hours, but it is really helpful. It just guides you through some of the areas that people aren't too sure of. I'm sure we could all have to do a bit of refresher. So are we happy to ask the clerk to see if we can arrange a one-off here rather than us in Ecclesfield, because it is a bit of a...
Would it depend on the numbers, Clive, because of the councils now?
Well, Michael seems to think 15, they would do it for that number.
Right.
I mean,
others as well,
you also mean?
we can invite others as well, just to boost.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could, but at least if we got minimum 15, they would turn and hopefully do that. So if we ask Michael to contact YLCA and see if they could arrange some training for ourselves, and if they're happy to, if other people are interested in there might be some from Woodsetts, I don't know.
So if we ask for a discount,
Yeah,
for 45.
I mean, it would hopefully be cheaper doing it that way than at the price of the quoting, so it might be a better way of doing it. And then we can make an approach to them and see if they'll do it for 15 plus councils. I think it would be better. Yeah, so I'll propose that we ask YLCA to see if they can arrange the developing your skills as a councillor training here at a date to be arranged. Many people in the evening, they don't do them during the, it says 7:30 p.m. So can I have a second for that? Thanks, Drew. All those in favour? Sure. Thank you. The other one is the chair. People probably say I need to go on this anyway. We went to one at Doncaster.
The university.
Chair. So I've still got the stuff out of this room to meet. Anybody wants to borrow that. That's at Denver, isn't it? But they could do it in Doncaster. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just looking at the date, Thursday the 16th. Chairman and Vice Chairman. Well, I've done the chairmanship, because I've still got the notes. I must admit at £225 for 2 delegates.
Anybody else wants to go?
Anybody else want to go?
It's a big one-day course, full one-day course. It gives you insight into the kind of chairman, which is all good knowledge, and I'm quite sure looking around, I'm quite sure somebody wants to chair some meetings in
I
the
might.
next 4 years, 5 years.
I might actually go on it if anybody else wants to go. But again, it's during the day, so it's awkward for some people if they want to.
Is it budgeted as well?
We have got a training budget.
Oh, okay,
You
that's
don't
fine.
pay for it.
Yeah, we have got it. No, you don't have to fund it, but we have got
No.
a training budget.
No, I'm just wondering, it's like,
Well, if anybody else is interested, it's got to be during the day, unfortunately, so some people might want to come, but can't get. But I'll consider going on it. But if anybody else is
Then again,
interested,
if nobody feels like it this year, they're on every year anyway, so you can go next year.
We don't recruit 2 people.
yeah, we'll approve up to two people to go, and if we don't get anybody, then we don't get anybody. But if we get 2, we've budgeted.
Yeah.
Right, is everybody happy to say up to, we'll approve for 2, and if we don't get anybody, then we're £230. Can I propose that we put up to 2 people to attend that
I'll say.
chairmanship? Can I have all those in favour, please? Sure, thank you.
I don't like it.
Yeah, he's working during the day, but this is the problem. It's,
Is it a weekday that?
sorry?
Is it a weekday that?
Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
I thought
To item 12 to be date time. Sorry, Michael's got another one.
It's just,
It's the one at South Kirby. South Kirby. This is another one that we get an invite to every year from
the 15th of July, myself and if she goes home,
Right. This is the local council advisory service. I've been on this before, it's Julie. But Michael gets free of charge on this, so it's through the insurance and risk assessment. I've been on this one before, so I think it's quite handy for the staff to go on that. I think it might be it's free for him, but it's £30 if the senior administrator goes. And she didn't go to the one last.
I think she
Yeah, it always is good to have an update, especially now we get this sort of other software system in place in each
we're just approving Siobhan to run the course.
Well, if anybody else wants to go on it, any other councillors want to go on it, it's during the day, it's the 15th of July, and it lasts till about 2 o'clock from 9:30 till about 2. Accident and claims review, risk assessment, business community planning, defect identification and prioritisation. If anybody wants to go on that. Colin, are you interested in anything like this?
Depends on the day.
Wednesday, 15th of July.
Wednesday the 15th of July. Well, again, can we leave it?
Possibly yes.
Right, well, can we approve the clerk and senior administrator? Plus 2 councillors, and then if nobody...
Yeah, I'll propose that.
Are we happy with that? Can I propose that for the second?
Can I just ask?
Sorry.
Does Siobhan do anything like silk or like that?
What's the
Because she can do that type of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good point, because I was going to ask whether she was interested in any further.
Does it cost us money if she was to do it?
Yes, it's not hugely expensive.
Because it would be advantageous for the council anyway.
Well,
Anyways, that's
I think that's something that we need to put on another agenda to see if she's interested in doing that. I think it would be helpful for the council to have that sort of backup as well. To agree time and date of the next meeting, 15th of June 2015, 7 o'clock. You've got time off till Monday to recover. So item 13 is resolved to adjourn the meeting in order to allow the public to raise any issues regarding today's meeting. No resolutions may be ruled on this item. The section is limited to 10 minutes. Does anybody want to speak from members of the public? I'm not being fair. I'll let Mr. Dickens see who's a bit faster with his.
It's to do with item 7, item 1, this grant policy. Excluding the support grant that you give to the charity, how much does the parish council give in grants per annum, roughly?
which is £2,500.
I'd like to know.
Okay, well, I'm going to second. Michael did actually send a copy of the budget headings out, I think, to everybody.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, George. I apologise, 60. All councillors were sent a copy of the budget headings, I think. I've not done my copy off. I'm informed that we've budgeted for £2,500 for grants and
What about a whole head? Just got some figures.
£5,000 for hall hire. But last year, I'm informed we didn't spend over. I think it's on the website actually. But last year, I don't think we spent that entire amount on the. That we
Don't you think, Chairman, it's £2,500, forget the whole grant, the £2,500, you go into an awful lot of trouble to control that, setting up working groups. What are you going to do about the £31,000 loss in grant?
Well, this is.
That should be being discussed now.
Well, we have talked about it. Everybody's aware, and we said we're attending a meeting with the commissioners tomorrow. Town and Parish Council does, and that's one of the items that we intend to raise with them to see what they can do to avoid us having this £11,000 loss that we're going to incur next year from the Borough Council.
So, to face it,
oh well, yeah.
there are ways and means around it if you look at the accounts.
Well, we're aware of that, George. That's why we're going to start looking at the budget in the precept in October this year, because if that goes ahead, then we've got to save that £11,000 some way. So we're going to have to do it. We've got no choice.
£11,000 next year.
Yeah, and the year after that.
Or the year after
it's
that.
£31,000 in total.
Well, if you consider that the parish tax base is increasing each year, roughly about 2%, that's going to give you income added to the precept. And it may be, you'll see, and be pleasantly pleased, it will not be as difficult as you think to meet those differences.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, we need certainty on this as soon as we can as to whether we're going to lose that money, because what we don't want to be doing is starting the budget discussions and not sure whether we're going, are we going to get it, are we not going to get it, because it's obviously going to influence how we set it for next year. So we need some certainty as soon as possible on that.
You've been told you're not going to get it, so why are you worrying about it? Just assume you're not going to get it.
Well, we are going to assume we're going to get it, but I'm hopeful that we're going to try and get something back out of it, and we're not going to lose it all, which is why I say we're going to try and address it with the commissioners tomorrow. There's no, we have to accept that it's a fait accompli at the moment, but that doesn't stop us trying to get it reversed and get the money back. And I think if we don't try and do that, then we've been remiss in what we've been elected to do, and that's to stop the parish suffering a £30,000 a year loss in income, which somehow we've got to work out.
Can I just come in? Just again to reassure, we're having, say, talks between ourselves at the moment, and we're actually considering, as well as seeing the commissioners tomorrow over other issues, we are considering going back to RMBC and saying, in effect, it's not acceptable taking this money off us without consultation, etc. And I do know there's other councils in the area who are also going to lose quite substantial amounts, and I think they're of the same mind. So we're thinking, and there's nothing set in stone at the moment, we're thinking of probably trying to get the other councils on board to lobby RMBC to give us that money back. I am also going to try and get it on YALC's, the Yorkshire Local Council Association's agenda, to discuss it at like our next level above, with a view for YALC to pass that on to the national local associations. Because what's actually happening is the government are giving the grant money to the RMBC, and it's RMBC, the Labour group, who's saying we can't have it.
They're looking for how many £1 million to cut?
Yeah, but the
You're
money...
not going to get it.
Well, I mean, we can only go try. But they are given the money to give to us, which they choose not to. That's the problem.
I mean, just to go back to that, George.
So you'd rather do that than face up to the problem. I mean, let's face it. That you've got £18,000 one year, £31,000 the following year, all misused by pushing up expenditure. The expenditure rose rapidly over that period. You've got not this particular parish council, but the previous parish council made a rod for their own back.
Well, we're in a position now where we've got to try and sort it out.
Absolutely.
And it's
And
dropped on our doorstep. And we
Don't rely on somebody coming and giving you another gift.
Don't worry about that. I mean, I've had this on the agenda since last year to discuss this loss of money, and we've never even got around to discussing it. In fact, I've just looked at it's dated, where are we?
Well, why didn't you discuss it tonight when it's on the
2014-096, so that must have been a November or December date when I had that for discussion, and we've never done it. And we need to make people aware of the position that we're in. You know, there's going to maybe some hard choices at the end of the day, but that's something that we're going to have to take a look at. We're going to have to involve yourself, you know, the community in general, as well as to what they think is acceptable when any cuts should fall. And we have to assume at this moment in time that it is going to happen. I'm not for one moment that naive to think that somebody's going to ride along on a white horse and start throwing fistfuls of £10 notes all over the village for us to do what we want to do. That's more than likely not going to happen. If we don't try and get something done about it, then we're not doing our duties we should be doing for the village.
Waiting till October to start the budget consultations is too long. You want to be starting before.
Well, I think people will start to form ideas before that time, Mrs. Stardate, and I think we'll feed that in as soon as we can. Once we get all this other business out of the way, and we get the council up to full strength, then I think we can start looking at that.
Well,
It's never too soon.
Exactly.
Yeah, can I just? What time is it? Oh, sorry, this is the 10-minute session.
Chair, can I just say there's two more need to speak as
Yes,
well?
I'm just going to visit. I will get it in. Do you want to speak first, Kevin? Are you all right?
Yeah.
You're okay. Do you just want to speak?
Well, I want to formally thank the 8 parish councillors who have just voted for the Anston Festival Day charity to receive free use of the hall and the field for the festival. I wondered if we could have a nominated councillor to do the liaison between us and you sooner than us all.
Can we have a think about that? Because we're not all here tonight. There are one or two.
Well, yes, if I can
If
just
people
mention
want
it.
to. No, so we can't make any decisions. Might to do with this part anyway. But we
Can I remind you about the awards? We agreed we would do the parish awards on that day, and perhaps you as chairman would come and...
I'd like to, but unfortunately I'll be sailing somewhere towards Venice, I think, on that Sunday. Much as I'd like to be,
representative.
I'd like to be, but it might be a representative. I'm not sure.
Does the vice chairman to take over when the chairman?
Yeah. So as I say, unfortunately, I'm in classes with her and I'm on holiday.
Well, I told you I abstained. I didn't vote against it. I abstained, and I told you the reason why. You have to understand, Mrs. Thomas.
Can I
I
just...
don't understand
When you make complaints against councillors, you have to accept the consequences if they're involved.
Sure. Can I just
I
get...
don't think that comes within
Can I just get Mr. Cavanagh's...
No, yeah.
Got a complaint?
No.
Got a complaint? Go to the standards committee.
Can we let Mr. Kavanagh speak, please? He's been gracious enough to let Mr.
I'd just like to say I agree with Drew with looking at all these grants that you're getting at and one thing or another, but I'd just like to explain to new councillors that this area outside, it isn't named park and it isn't named playing fields or whatever. It's the welfare, it's Anston welfare, for the welfare of the people of this community.
Yes.
Therefore, I think tonight, for some reason, you've struggled to help the groups on health and welfare issues such as football, which is exercise for people in this community. You seem to be struggling to give them grants, but yet other groups you seem to be giving quite a substantial grant too.
Is that true?
I made the
I don't
point
think
earlier.
so.
I made the point earlier. We're giving some grant to some groups and not to others.
Couldn't agree more, I agree with it. The point I'm trying to make is that it's for the health and well-being of people within this community that you seem to be struggling to give £100 to, but yet other groups we seem to be chucking money out.
Well, I don't particularly agree with you. I know Christine doesn't agree. I mean, I don't have a problem supporting any of the sporting groups and things like that.
Oh, no,
Anybody that uses the hall. I mean, I personally own lots of groups with money that I get from the Borough Council to help them do that. And I think
Oh, no.
if we don't do that in the village, then it'll die a death.
No, you're missing what I'm saying. If you have fortunately, it's been videoed tonight. If you do go home and you sit down and listen to yourselves, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I could only chair the group and let people have their views, and it's up to
Yeah,
them.
but I'm just saying that if you go back on your TVs and watch this tonight, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Can I just...
It'll not be on tonight.
Can I
No,
just...
tonight, it'll be in a week.
Councillor Tarney, please.
I agree, and that's exactly why we're going to review exactly what we're doing. But I totally agree taking your points on board.
Yeah, totally agree.
Can a member of the public come on that working group? Or several?
No.
I think that would be asking for trouble.
No, not on.
Well,
No.
we can set up our own.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it would primarily be councillors to discuss what we would bring back then to discuss again and decide on the way forward. It's purely people put their heads together and seeing what ideas they can come up with. Jonathan?
I believe the public can be on a working group. We're going to stand on it, but don't have a vote on decisions.
Well, that's not, but yeah, well, no, it's not what we voted on today. It was set up a working group of councils to have a look at that and report back.
That's
So
still
that-
The councillors, the councillors on the actual group can make that decision at their first meeting, whether they wish to include members of the public or not.
I think Mrs. Thomas should actually bring to a point to you that perhaps it would be helpful to you to have some people
Yes.
from some of these groups.
Yes.
I'm not denying, but I think the council, the councils on the working group they can decide whether they bring people in from other areas of the village. It's entirely up to them. I'm going to leave it to Drew and whoever else is working with him to decide who and what groups they would like to have input into that. It's not a problem. I'd rather have more ideas than none. Sorry, Colin, last word.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Kevin, but from personal experience, I would rather give £100 to a hospice than £100 to a footballer. Now, whether you agree with that or whether you don't, it's just a bit of bad luck. But from my point of view, I give money to a hospice every day.
I'm not asking you to whether you agree or you don't agree. What I'm saying is this is a welfare and you are here to help the welfare of this community.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do it even-handedly and hopefully help people in even more than we are at the moment if we can get our sums right.
But tonight you get a substantial amount of money to a group that use these facilities. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, but yet out on field,
But conversely, that group pays a lot of money. The other half that they don't, they pay over £1,200.
That's because they use it more than anybody else.
But they don't use it.
You know, that's like saying...
They have 4 events a year.
That's like saying that somebody who hires a lorry once a year and will
Well, I don't think that's
X amount of transport, but somebody who uses it every day.
a good analogy. I'm going to close the meeting now.
I just mentioned
One
that
last
Len
word.
Williams